3,000 years ago, Hindu scriptures stated that the earth was being held on the backs of elephants that were on the back of a turtle that was swimming in a sea. In hindsight, this seems absurd, but this is an example of what thinking men were coming up with, and this was accepted by many as truth. This is where we were, intellectually, 3,000 years ago. Greek mythology claimed that the earth was resting on the shoulders of a giant man-god they call Atlas. I'm sure you've seen the image before. Again, funny now, but an accepted truth by many people in its time. 3,000 years ago, that's 1000 BC, a man named Job, claiming divine revelation, wrote this: God stretches out the north over empty space. God hangs the earth on nothing. Though subtle, this is a remarkable statement of fact. At a time when the wildest of fairy tales were being accepted as truth, God, through Job, said it as well as anyone could, even to this day. God hangs the earth on nothing. Job's writing is an example of divine foreknowledge in the Holy Bible. It is an example of a biblical writer knowing something that they couldn't possibly have known or even guessed. And this is what we will look at today. Merriam-Webster defines foreknowledge two ways: to have previous knowledge of, and to know beforehand, especially by paranormal means, or by revelation. Thanks for throwing the revelation in there, guys. And divine, of course, means from God. Alright, staying with an outside look at the earth, we move on. We notice here that the earth is round. More specifically, it's spherical. Even more specifically, because it's not a perfect sphere, it is an oblate spheroid. For a long time, people thought that the earth was flat. More specifically, they thought that there were edges that one could fall off of if they were to go too far. Scientifically, it was not proven that the earth was round until the 16th century, when Ferdinand Magellan became the first person to circumnavigate the earth, to take a ship completely around the earth. The round earth theory had been around for a while. In fact, if you were to Google who we attribute the round earth theory to, it, like many teachers, would say that Aristotle first came up with the idea around 330 BC. In 700 BC, that's almost 400 years before Aristotle's theory, another man, claiming divine revelation, a man named Isaiah, wrote this: Have you not known? Have you not heard? Has it not been told to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is God who sits above the circle of the earth. And 300 years before Isaiah wrote that, King Solomon, another biblical writer claiming divine revelation, wrote of the wind going around the earth. We'll get to that later. There are other verses that state spherical earth as well. Remember when Job stated that God hangs the earth on nothing? 3 verses later, he follows that up with another remarkable statement of fact. He, meaning God, drew a circular horizon on the face of the waters at the boundary of light and darkness. Proverbs 8:27 states that when God prepared the heavens, I was there, when he drew a circle on the face of the deep. Job 22:14 states that God walks above the circle of the heavens. Hebrew word here for heavens is sky. And for all the skeptics out there who say that the Bible refers to a disc-shaped earth, like that Hindu earth, listen to the words of Jesus Christ himself. Referring to his coming back to earth in the future, Jesus says this: I tell you, in that night there will be 2 in one bed. The one will be taken and the other will be left. 2 will be grinding. The one will be taken and the other left. 2 will be in the field. The one will be taken and the other left. The 2 in the field and the 2 grinding refer to people working during the day. The 2 in that night in one bed refer to 2 people sleeping at night. This states that day and night occur simultaneously on earth. not possible on a one-sided Earth or disc-shaped Earth. Today we live in a 24/7 society, but in this time and up until the 20th century, people did not work at night, especially in a field or grinding at a mill.